I'll make a
exit executive session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. Now we need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I'll make a motion to adopt the agenda as presented.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Is there any awards tonight? Okay. All right, we'll start the public hearing. First order of business is this is discussion only of ordinance 747, the annexation at 6300 Jones Road. For those of you who signed up to talk, yeah, I have a list up here and I'll call on you, but we're going to do that over in where it says public comments. So we haven't forgot you.
Mayor and Council, this has already been to a public hearing. But what we wanted to do, and the applicant asked us to come in and do a discussion. I think there were some questions still at the public hearing. But for those that have not seen the presentation, I'll just go through it so we all know what, so the public knows what is being asked here. So Heritage Group Homes LLC is applying for annexation of a .854 small piece in the corner of that area, of that parcel that for some reason was Hall County, never became the city. So that .854 is the annexation request. And then they're asking to rezone contiguous parcels at 6300, 6294, 6290, 6270, 6258, 6246, 6249 from Hall County VC to Flowery Branch. Well, we did that. We did a city initiated from VC to R1, and then now they're asking for an R2 annexation on 22.14 acres. The proposed subdivision would contain a total of 74 single-family detached residential homes with a mixture of front entry and rear entry garage. Several concurrent variances are being requested, including reduction in setbacks, lot sizes, and porch dimensions. So this is the location map at the end of Mitchell Street, and then the Jones property is what I call this, and then it has a driveway, but it says Jones Street, but it's more of a driveway. And those are the parcels listed. So like I said, it currently is R1 surrounded by VC, and there's agricultural, and that's where the mobile home park is as well. There's R3 adjacent and T&D further down Mitchell. The future development map shows this is the suburban residential, which is a moderate density. And the plan itself, as far as single-family residential homes, would be in harmony with the future land use map and the comp plan. So the design itself, that's from the comp plan. That talks about what the city is looking for in the suburban residential. So the plan itself is 74 units with adjacent open spaces. And the drive comes in, and then it loops around, and then there's an alleyway for the rear loading. And then here's typical lot layouts for the different widths. I do this every time. These are the two typical lot layouts on the presentation. So the rear entry are 50 foot in width and 5,500 square feet. The front entries are 65 feet in width and 7,150 square feet. And these are the variances that are requested in the application. So building setbacks from 15 to 7 foot for the sides, rear entry garage from 25 to 15 foot, and then the lot size reductions from 15,000 to 7,150 for the front entry, and then down to 5,500 for the rear entry, and then lot width reductions from 75 feet to 65 feet for the front entries units and 50 feet for rear entry garage units. And this is the concurrent variances talking about the front porch requiring 40% of the front facade. And we're asking for the 40% to be removed, but just leaving the 11 foot wide due to the double car garages and the width of these buildings. the radius curve on the streets themselves. 275 foot is by code. They're asking to be reduced to 120. On some of the curves they've got in here to make that loop, they have to be less than 275 feet. So this is the road access. The proposed subdivision will be access for Mitchell Street. Mitchell Street is not to current design standards concerning the right-of-way and street width, the asphalt width. I will say that per code at the entrance, the road frontage that the development has happened has to be brought up to current standards. So the adjacent subdivision did that when they developed. So they have curb and gutter, they have the right width, they have sidewalks. So this development would do the same thing and continue the Mitchell Street being a standard street at least in front of this property. So that's by code. These are architectural concepts. Of course, we'll go through Article 40, staff will, to make sure that all the architectural standards are part of their submittal. So this will be prior to us issuing any building permits. We'll go through a full review package of all of their homes. And then confirm that they're building it correctly once the home is done. So we went over the staff recommendations. There's quite a few of them. So but staff recommends approval. And I won't read all of them again. I read through these in the public hearing, but these are on the agenda. If anybody's interested, they could download these and read them. My staff report is also in there. And so we can talk about, civil site engineering, the building design, street, sidewalk, stormwater, signage, landscaping, and lighting, transportation improvements. They will have to, the client will have to work with Hall County. That's a Hall County right-of-way. So they'll have to get approval of Mitchell Street from Hall County. And then concurrent variances, recommended approval, and then also put a condition that unless it was requested, if the site plan has nonconformities, then we're not approving those nonconformities unless they're specifically requested. Any questions from me?
Would you repeat what you said about the county having approved something?
Yeah. So Mitchell Street, up to a point, and I should have had the.
No, wait a minute. You were more toward the end when you said it.
Sure.
I'm sure what you're talking about.
Well, Hall County would have to approve the entrance, but their standards are the same as ours. They make them do curb and gutter and sidewalks, and then the radius returns for the entrance will be same as us. So they'll have to take their development plans to Hall County for stamped approval because it's a Hall County right-of-way.
Okay.
And I put that as a condition that they need to, must be improved to current standards from Tidewater to through the remainder of the subdivisions of road frontage. Any other questions for me?
Yeah, Chris, but that, as far as that only comes out to the end of what is currently the small part of Jones Road, right? Then there's another part that belongs to Hall County that would have to probably be widened.
Yeah, that section that I showed on the survey there, that's their road frontage. It's right next to Tidewater's, well, a few 100 feet away from Tidewater entrance. Mm-hmm. And so the very end of where Mitchell Street ends is about where that guard building is that goes into the marina. And the rest of it's just a driveway. I think it says on the GIS Jones Road, but it's a driveway. It goes into a house.
It's a little driveway back, and then there's a gate.
Yeah, that's right. I will say this, that this afternoon, the applicant provided me a traffic impact study. I think they're going to hand that to you guys tonight, but the engineers have been working on that and just finished it up, so that's why it came in kind of late, but I'll let the applicant talk about that.
So where does the city road end and the county?
It becomes city, Mitchell becomes city when you get closer to the, past the park and starting on that curve. I should have had a document from GIS that shows that. If you get on Hall County's GIS, you can see where the blue line ends and it becomes Hall County. Yeah, about right there. Mm-hmm.
Is that where it is?
There's a road where you can go right, or you can go kind of straight into the property, right there. I think.
Kind of where the bathrooms are.
Yeah. Okay.
So the applicant is here tonight for a discussion of this. There were some questions, I think, that came from the table at the public hearing. There was people not here, so he wanted to come in and just talk to you guys about the project.
Any other discussion we need?
Well, it might be for the applicant also, but I am concerned that we made a decision to rezone it to R1 to make sure that we, I think because of access or whatever to the back, that we would keep it a lower number of homes because the road is currently, and I guess we're going to see an official study and we'll understand a little better.
Yeah.
But, and this is an application to go to R2, but the actual development is nowhere near R2. I mean, we've got 5 major variances, the biggest lots being around 7,000 square feet, which is, I know we've done a few where we've lowered some lots that were a little on the small side, and we would approve a few that were under the 15,000 or even 7,500. And this does not address that. It's pretty much all of them. And therefore, I get worried that we continuously take our ordinances and rather than changing them ourselves, we allow, in this case, I think, too many variances to what is really an R2.
I think the applicant has an analysis of comparing this to T&D. It's as a spreadsheet and kind of talking about matching closer to T&D, but I'll let them do it. But this was the plan that was presented before this, a high-density attached townhomes. So the plan that's now is much less dense than this, and a single-family detached rather than attached townhomes.
You know, I think we went through all the variant, I mean, not the variances, but the zoning and that. We changed a lot of things around. But the two things that I look at first is, how's it going to look? And how does it fit? And if you look at those two things, and then you start looking, well, yeah, maybe we got it wrong, you know. But we do have a lot of variances there, but it sure looks a lot better than 140-some townhomes back there. I mean, 70 homes is less than half of that, and everything would be better. The traffic and that, and you know, and it's not like there's going to be a lot of people driving past it, because most people, if you tell them where it is, they wouldn't have a clue how to find it. So anyway, and you know, I understand we changed that, but I don't know how strict we need to be on it in this case.
We removed out of the code the PUD, which allowed for a planned unit development. And this probably would have been a good candidate for the PUD, but just don't have that code. It's a legacy zoning now. T&D is close. I think we have an analysis. The applicant has an analysis on T&D. So.
But yeah, I look at T&D though, and I look at that and I think, well, T&D, you can put a lot of parcels on this. And I think that was one of the things that we had talked about with these properties, is the fact that the access to them is difficult on that road. And knowing that in order for that road to be enhanced, that burden could very easily fall on the city if the county doesn't decide that they're going to do it themselves. You know, so with that, you know, I know that we tried to run some numbers. And did you have those numbers about what it would cost to try to get and maybe explain how the road would look?
Sure.
Based on what you were able to find out?
The consultant engineer looked at this and just gave a very rough estimate that if you did the full compliance with curbing, it'd be 28 foot wide, back curb to back curb. It'd be 2 foot curb and gutters, and then you'll have stormwater catch basins throughout there, because if you curb and gutter it, you got to put the stormwater somewhere. You'll have a 2-foot grass strip, but then you'll have a 5-foot sidewalk on both sides. So that's a compliant street to city standards, and the estimate was around $1 million for a full compliance. Now, there are places where you can do edge of pavement without curb and gutter, and there's places you can find in the city with ditch lines and edge of pavement rather than curb and gutter. So it could be less if we wanted just to widen the street.
To do edge of pavement.
Yeah, edge of pavement, edge of pavement, yeah.
You figure you'd have to take out the hollies. The hollies would have to go. They'd have to go.
They were planted in the right of way. They shouldn't have been planted there in the first place.
But I
Yeah.
mean, those would have to go, they'd have to be uprooted because you're gonna put road
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Or you'd have
A
to.
little bit of
run
width
stuff.
or ditch line or something, yeah.
And then you got a fence there that I guess belongs to, I mean, you'll be right up along that fence,
They probably installed that fence in the right of way as well.
I think so.
Yeah,
So they would, if that was the case, they'd have to move it.
yeah. Well, we could enforce that today if we wanted to.
And then you really, if you're going down that direction to the right, you really can't do much there, obviously, because that's where the stormwater
Yeah.
is. So you really couldn't, like you said, if you were gonna do curb and gutter and sidewalk, you could do it right over that, but if it was gonna be, pavement, then you gotta just, I guess just, you leave that open drainage ditch stormwater
Yeah.
there, so.
Sometimes you have to, just based on existing conditions.
So,
Yeah.
so what would be the estimate, though, the rough estimate then, just for, just to widen it and pave it without the sidewalk and all that kind of stuff?
I don't know, it would be a fraction of the full one, so it would have to be more than half, less. But what I would do is probably ask the applicant, since he's in the business of development, he probably has a linear foot comparison maybe off the top of his head. And I did do the cost estimate on this, but we would have to go back to I can get the answer for you by the next meeting.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know why we would need, the need for a sidewalk on both sides of the road there. I know the trail's gonna go there, but it seems to me we'd want one good sidewalk for the trail, but I'm not sure. If we had a wide sidewalk on one side, would anybody really walk on the other side, or
Yeah.
would that just be a pamphlet plan?
Riding down that road today, I mean, you start construction trucks and stuff like that down that road, with the potholes that are already there, it's coming apart at the seams. How accessible is that road going to be for people that live there now, for people going to the marina, coming back, the restaurant there, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah.
Cause I mean, you get some really, really heavy trucks and everything else that are gonna be going in and out of there on a road that currently is, I mean, in bad shape.
Well, what I would say to that is a good engineer would balance this site, and meaning that you don't have to haul off or bring any dirt in. That means they deployed once, they're inside the subdivision while the grading is going, and then they get deployed out. So it costs a lot of money to export or import dirt, and a good engineer would be able to balance the site and not have any of that truck traffic coming out, hauling dirt off or hauling dirt in. And it's very expensive to do that. So the applicant would probably be motivated to balance the site.
And then you still got the trucks that are
Yeah.
involved building
The builders, yeah,
trucks,
yeah.
so, I mean, it's still.
The materials, yeah.
So, I think that's just one of the things that sometimes, just want to make sure we're looking at, because obviously that can be a detriment when you're trying to get large trucks up and down that road for, a year and a half, 2 years, in the condition that it's in now. And
Sure.
then, if you enhance this road, when would you do that?
I would wait till after construction, yeah. Yeah, you would want to wait. That's one of the last things that's done, is that final coat on the topping coat on the asphalt inside the subdivision and along the road frontage as well. Yeah.
And so with it in the condition it's in now, after 3, 6, 9 months, a year of heavy truck traffic, you worry about how folks are gonna navigate that road. Because it is in such, the road's in horrible shape now. It needs major attention.
Yeah.
But, know it's, that portion of it's the county, so it's,
That's worse, you know, my recommendations and conditions, my hands are kind of tied. We can do things when it's the city's road. And we could condition certain things when but it's not. That's hard for me to do that. And I'm not getting any input. I'm asking for it, but I'm not getting any input from Hall County. I think they have some staff turnover in the engineering department. So when I'm emailing and asking, so.
yeah, that's why I was thinking.
They just
Wish they would, yeah, and, you know, I know when Tidewater Cove was built, that was built with the idea that there would also be an entrance off of Lights Ferry. Because, matter of fact, the Harbor Lights now, that sits there, the subdivision was supposed to be Tidewater Cove. But the thing, you know, the market, went to pot there, and, that didn't happen. And the Harbor Lights folks, I think Chris Hill was actually part of that. They came to us and, during a time when really nothing was happening, and took a big chance and actually redid that entire thing and made it into a single family, you know, detached, nice little subdivision there. So that did away with that entrance that would have been there for Tidewater Cove. It would have taken a lot of traffic off of, Mitchell and then Jones. So that, you know, there were plans for that large development of Tidewater Cove to have more than just that one entrance off of, Mitchell Jones there, so.
That creek that goes through there is pretty significant. I think on this older plan, I think they had like future connection labeled up there. But it stopped short, but yeah. But very good comments and questions.
come out as Tidewater Cove. There's another.
Yeah, there is, excellent, you're right, yeah.
Anybody else have any questions or any more discussion?
Thank you, Mayor, Council.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
How do we handle this in a discussion on the rezoning? Is it, we have to go through this?
Since these are discussion, I'm talking about the annexation and rezoning at the same time.
Okay, good.
This isn't a public hearing, so we don't have.
That's what I was hoping
Yeah,
for.
but I think with discussion, we would open it up to the client or to the applicant to speak. Okay,
Okay.
thanks.
So does the applicant
Okay.
speak?
Yeah, Krill. Yeah. Chris, give us your name and address again. There's a button there.
Oh, there we go. Sorry about that. I was trying to get it up just a little bit here. My name is Chris Hill, and I'm with Heritage Group Homes, and address is 5915 Fairway Park Lane in Jefferson, Georgia. And I just wanted to go back and talk about this kind of in detail with you guys too as well. And we've worked very hard to get this down from 156 townhomes. I was not involved in this application, but it was submitted at 156 townhomes. And we were looking to do something a little bit different here. And so we came back and we looked at this scenario with 61 single-family homes and 55 townhomes. And that was going to be 116 lots. But we still wanted something a little bit different. We wanted a community with larger lots. And we wanted a community that would be able to put a majority of the homes of the master on the main. And having a master on the main requires us to do a little bit bigger home sites. And so we redesigned this again, and we came up with 54 front entry homes and 20-foot alleyway homes for a total of 74 homes. I appreciate Chris putting together that extensive report, and I do concur with the staff approval. We're trying to do medium density, single family detached that allows, that follows the comp plans. And I know there's a lot of discussion about R2, RT, and D. And we felt like R2 was a little bit better of an opportunity for us because R2 allows for 4 units to the acre. And so that's what we were going after. T and D is 6.5 units to the acre. Again, we wanted to go with less density. And so we did this comparison, and I apologize, it's a little bit hard to read, but we did this comparison from T and D to R2, and we're coming up with about the same variances on this. And it's, for the R2, you have a 15,000 square foot lot, but it allows 4 units to the acre. There's some calculations that are not correct in there, in a sense. It's very difficult to get 4 units to the acre when you're doing 15,000 square feet lots. I mean, the math, there's 43,560 square feet in a lot. And so 4 times 15, you're at 60,000 square feet. So how does that work? It doesn't. So that's why we kind of came up with the R2, and we base it off the 4 units of the acre. And I do apologize, and I got this to Chris at like 4 o'clock today, so he was not able to put this in the presentation. But I would like, oh, thank you. And so we recognize that we're going to use the road. We recognize that. We also recognize that the road has had some deferred maintenance too as well. And just to kind of make things a little simple here. So if you go down to the chart on table 1, it says trip generation. And if you look at ours right there, the first one, it says Land Use Code 251. It has our daily traffic coming in. And if you go to table 2, this is the existing trips from Tidewater Cove and Safe Harbor Marina. And if you look at Tidewater Cove, that is going to be roughly 170-ish homes that are in there. And then the marina is going to be 620 wet docks and 180 dry storage. So what I did is I took 765 plus 1315 plus 1928, and that comes out at a total of 4,080. And then I divided 765 into 4,080, and we're currently going to be 19% of the people coming in and out of that road. If you look a little bit further, you take 1350 divided into the total of 4,008. Tidewater is going to be close to 33%. And then you have the marina, which is going to be roughly right around 48%. And, with the marina, sometimes you get trucks and you get trailers and you get bigger vehicles coming in and out of there. So we understand that there is a need to repair the road. I mean, we get that. We want our homeowners coming home to a road that's nicely paved and nicely done. And we're willing to sit down and contribute to a certain percentage of this, and we'll be more than happy to sit down and discuss this before next council meeting too as well. And I was just wondering if anybody had any questions.
Have you reached out to Hall County?
We have. There has been a turnover, and so we're experiencing a little bit.
What's happening with that?
Yes, sir.
But you're looking at the traffic for the marina, but I would think like from mid-fall to early spring, it's hardly any, I would think. But,
Yeah.
and also, I mean, with the summer, it's probably going to be busier. I mean, obviously.
That's a good question. It probably averages out. And how they do these calculations is there's just a set forth formula that they use
Okay.
throughout the year.
So this is averaging out these numbers.
I'm sorry, sir?
This is averaged out these numbers.
I would assume. Now, I'd have to talk to the engineer about that. It's from the IT manual.
Yeah. Am I reading this right? They're saying in this, on average, there's going to be 1,928 daily trips just for the marina. That's almost 2,000.
I think they're doing that from all the other roads that are around, how it impacts the other roads.
Okay. That just seems like a lot to me. I mean, I don't think there's that many boats. There's not that many boats in the marina.
Now, but still, it does, I mean, we aren't doing the study, but 1,000 a day, one way seems high, doesn't it?
Yeah, I mean, that's,
But anyway, we didn't do the study.
I mean, I drive down there probably 2 or 3 times a week, and I'll see 1 or 2 cars. I mean, I know that it's not there yet, but, I mean, I don't know. This seems high to me, that I would think there's less traffic than this. I don't know. I'm not an engineer.
That is actually in and out.
It's what?
It's
Yeah,
in and
I
out.
realize that, but that's still 1,000, you know, and if ever, well, and that's just the marina, right? I mean, it says marina.
That is what it says. I mean, we could probably take a look at the AM peak and the PM peak numbers too as well,
Well, I think that they
and look at that comparison.
well, and that, well, that doesn't even, that doesn't add up to 1,900.
No, sir, it doesn't.
I'm sorry, I'm still.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
One thing nice about R2 is the 15-foot side setbacks, because that gets you 30 feet between houses. So moving it to 7 feet, you're gonna have 14 feet now, roughly. You know, some be different, but that'd be the minimum. How do you combat having mosh pits on the side yards of these when the houses are that close together, with being that it's R2? I understand there's other, you know, T&D and some other types of zoning. You know, you can get houses much closer than that. You can get them up to, you know, 5 feet setbacks. But with that being the case, and this being R2 and taking half of the setback away from the sides, you know, what do you guys, what can y'all do to alleviate the fact that there's going to be mosh pits on the side of these houses because the photosynthesis is just not going to get through? You're not going to be able to grow Bermuda. You just won't have it, and therefore the drainage and everything generally runs down the side of houses. You're just going to have sediment being moved to the lowest point and that kind of stuff. So, you know, what can y'all do to, I guess, beautify and prevent these homes from having side yards that eventually just become mosh pits?
That's a good question. What we've done in the past is actually make sure it's graded correctly to get the water on the property line, and then we've used a lot of like granite chips or river rock. So if grass is not going to grow there, we're not going to stick Bermuda there because it doesn't really tolerate shade. So that's what we've done in the past, and we don't have a problem doing something like that.
Because I know a lot of times, a builder, developer, whatever, they'll put the Bermuda down and it looks good while the house is on the market, but then a year later, there's no Bermuda left.
Correct.
So that's something that certainly like to see, maybe as a condition that there's some type of, if we're gonna go forward with this thing, that there's some kind of condition that protects that from happening.
Yeah, I would kind of agree with Joe on that one. I mean, to that point, maybe some enhanced landscaping down the side, and then some kind of walking path in between these two houses or something like that, to the crushed granite or pads, something like that, that kind of helps with the drainage. You take in some of the water, and then you don't have the issue where you have, no grass, nothing in between these homes. Especially the ones you're talking about with the narrower yards that we have.
We don't have a problem with that.
About how many, you said there's going to be some masters on the main?
Yes, sir. We want all of them to be master on the main, and that's why we're asking for the variances. Yeah. Because of master on the main, you have to build a wider and deeper house.
Yeah. So I thought you gave us the number, maybe not.
I don't think.
74 lots?
Yeah, there's 74 lots,
Yeah,
yes, sir.
but
That's our goal, to have those on the master on the main. Now, we do have a couple of lots that may require to do a smaller house just because they're on the corners due to setbacks. Mm-hmm. But we would love to do all masters on the main.
I think you find the masters on the main are really advantageous to retired folks. Maybe,
yes, sir.
Maybe a little older, not as old as me, but maybe older. Yeah.
We're looking to do, because you have townhomes there, you got the commercial marina that's there. So we're looking at doing a nicer community with 10-foot ceilings. We're trying to raise the bar down there too as well. And because we believe that a lot of empty nesters, we're going to have access to the marina. They can have their boat right there. They can jump on their golf cart, drive right down there. It has a lot of advantages, and that's what we feel, and that's the research that we've done. That's the direction that we want to go, is to build a little bit nicer of a product.
Very good. Okay. Any more? Thank you. Okay, we will move to new business, the work session. Consider the sale and purchase of a parcel of land on Thurman Tanner Parkway.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We are presenting the purchase and sale agreement for purchasing a parcel of land on Thurman Tanner Parkway. Let me grab the flipper. Thank you, Madam Clerk. This is the parcel that we are presenting. The purchase price is $1.975 million. The reason we are presenting this is for a future potential home of our public safety department. Our public safety department has outgrown its current home, and although we are requesting the purchase now, it will be a while before the funds are available to actually build the public safety facility. Are there any questions? I will mention too, excuse me, sir, that if SPLOST is passed, there is $2 million in the public safety category to start the fund for building this public safety facility. Any questions?
Well, I know the property obviously is more centrally located. You know, you're out closer to the commercial corridor there where I think most of the crime happens in the city. And then it gets you on the other side of the railroad tracks. So that's beneficial. But and also with starting on the lake, being out there a little bit further, gets you a little bit closer. Starting on the lake, but also able to get back over here quickly to access the downtown and the rest of the city. So, you know, the location is certainly nice, and it appears that the police department is busting at the seams over there, and that you know, they're on top of each other, and I think with evidence rooms and everything else, it's probably becoming more and more difficult to corral everything. So, so certainly in the future, they're, you know, they're definitely gonna need a bigger place, and you've got to have, I guess you got to have the land to build on, or you got to buy a building, put them in, and then if you buy the building, you end up having to modify it and do all the different types of things. You end up spending a lot of money probably just on modifying that you could have just started from the ground up and come up with something that's, you know, very, very useful, so, and productive. So, and obviously municipal court too would be there as well. So, yeah, I think, you know, one day again, you got so much commercial stuff around there, and you're really close to 985. You know, I think one of the big things to deter that kind of crime is visibility. So with the police department that close to 985 and that close to the commercial corridor, hopefully that can deter some crime a little bit. So.
Very good. Anybody else? Any more, Joe?
Thank you.
Okay. All right, we move on to department reports. City manager report.
No report, sir.
City clerk.
Yes, sir. I just want to report, I'm not sure who may or may not know, but a notice is gone out today on our website, social media accounts and whatnot, that pursuant to OCGA 21-2-291 and 21-2-325, notice is hereby given that Flowery Branch General Municipal Election scheduled for November the 4th is canceled. The following candidates have qualified for office and are unopposed. Oliver McClellan will be the mayor starting in January. William McDaniel, the incumbent, will be post 3. Charles Vanderbilt will be post 4, and Peter Lena Jr. will be post 5. The above unopposed candidates shall be deemed to have voted for themselves, and that was determined yesterday. So just wanted to let everyone know that. Thank you.
Okay. The Department of Fund. Yeah, here she comes.
Good evening, everyone. Just a couple of announcements. First of all, today was Superhero Day at the Farmers Market, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. Thanks to our public works and our police department, we had a fire truck and an ambulance, and these sweet little baby superheroes were climbing all over these tractors and lawnmowers, and their smiles on their faces was just priceless. So thank you to everyone that helped and pitched in to make today so special. Also, next Friday night, we are having Fly Betty downtown, so come out and have some food and dance in the streets with us. So it'll start, band starts at 7:30. Food trucks will be ready at 6:30, so it'll be fun.
We had a big crowd last year for that.
Yes, sir.
Yep.
They always bring a big crowd.
Boy, they finished with Freebird. Boy, that guy, boy, he was tearing it up. They did a great job on that guitar solo.
Okay. Finance Department.
Good evening. I thought I'd give a quick update on the tax digest. We did receive the final tax digest last night at 5:16 and was able to recalculate everything, so we'll be able to offer a full rollback, and the new millage rate will be 3.247. Thank you.
How much did the tax digest go up?
Oh, I don't know off the
About-
top of my
about-
head.
Okay, that's all right.
I think when you factor in the inflationary growth reduction, it was about 8% in total from new growth.
Yeah.
Yeah.
3.264 to 3.247.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay. HR? Okay. Planning Department?
Okay, I did want to start off tonight and let you guys know I'm well aware of the calls that are coming in for Comcast installing fiber optics at Sterling on the Lake. So today I've been fielding a lot of phone calls and talking to some people. Bill actually went out there and drove through to look at some places. And so everybody that has called me and left me a voicemail or an email, I've contacted them. And I'm actively working with Comcast superintendent, trying to get a schedule going. And then I'm going to talk to them about working late. I think some of the complaints were they were working till 8:30, 9 o'clock. So I want to ask them to stop work 6 o'clock, 6:30, somewhere around there. So you guys may have gotten calls, but I am talking to people, quite a few people today. So getting feedback from a few meetings ago, what I heard from some of you guys was that the way that we did the public hearings, especially the very first one, if there was a vote at the public hearing, so we have to advertise the public hearings, and then we can go to work sessions, then we go to a voting session. So my thought is to bring this procedure in front of you guys and see if I've got consensus to start this possibly in September, and I would like your feedback on it. So public hearing and first read, we advertise that, conduct the public hearing and the first read, allow the presentations of the planning department, the applicant, and public comments, both in support and opposition. No vote would occur on the public hearing. That's an input night. And then what I would like, or staff would like to do, is have council direct us to the next step. So if council believes that this indicate that the second read of the orders will be held at the next meeting at which a vote would take place, or direct us to move to a work session in between the two meetings, because we can get some specific details or some more information from the applicant. Keeping in mind that for zoning matters, there can be no more than 90 days between the first hearing and the second read vote. So 90 days in between the two meetings, but we can go to a work session inside that. If you direct me to tell the client, we'll put them on the agenda for a work session. Voting session, a subsequent meeting would include the case, second read under old business for discussion if needed, if we want to put it on discussion, and conclude with a vote to approve with or without amending or deny it. So I did an example timeline. Let's say we advertise for November 9th public hearing, vote not held, but we did have the public hearing. If you directed me, I would put them on the November 20th work session to refine details of the council's request, and then they would become on the voting session of December 4th. For the second read only requires then you require a vote, with the optional discussion under old business culminating into a vote. So what that does is give you guys time to see the presentation, and then can get back with me for details or send it to a work session. It gives them more time to digest what they're presenting, rather than having the first time you see it, and then all of a sudden there's a vote at the end of the meeting. So in this way, we can send it to work sessions, and we can work through this and see it. You'll see it more than once if you want. So any input on, we could start this on September 4th if you guys wanted to.
Yeah, well, Chris and I, we met on this already, and I think it's a great idea to have the procedure be more like this. So I'd be in favor of it.
In a lot of cases, it would speed things up if there
It
if
could.
there was something that everybody was already in favor of, right? So,
Yeah, I would agree. I think it gives us some opportunity to ingest some of the information that's being presented in the first
Yeah.
meeting, and then we can determine which way we want to go after that. But I think it's more efficient if we do it this way.
And I have the ability now to get my staff reports done quicker. And instead of waiting to just see them on the agenda, I'm going to send them out as a separate email to you guys, and you'll have them much sooner than the agenda comes up.
If I could just weigh in just for a moment there, I would want you to adopt an ordinance that officially adopted this procedure, if that's what you want to do, so, because that requires a little bit of lead time. I don't know that we'd quite be ready to do it in September.
Okay,
but-
we won't be ready in September, but I've got to do an ordinance. Thanks,
try.
Ted. I haven't had a chance to share this or get input from Ted, and so if there's anything like that that I need to refine, I'll have that in the next staff report, okay? Otherwise, an ordinance is coming. Thank you.
okay, police department report. Okay, public utilities. Public works. No report, thank you. Okay, attorney's report. No report. Council report, post one.
No report.
No.
Yeah, I just want to say, you know, I feel very lucky and blessed and very grateful to be up here and that I've got another opportunity to do another 4 years. So thank you, everyone.
Congratulations.
Nothing important.
Okay, I just wanted to welcome, I haven't got to meet them all yet, but welcome all there'll be 2 more newcomers to our council next year. So anyway, welcome to them. Okay, we'll adjourn the work session.
Before we do that, I want to make sure with Heritage that we'll make sure, you guys said that y'all could get with the staff and talk about how you could possibly help to contribute towards enhancements to the road and that kind of thing, because I do feel like that to me is a big issue, because the concern is number one, it got zoned to R1 because we knew that, like Joe said, that it's difficult to get more people back there over and over and over and over again, considering the infrastructure going back there. So in order for that to happen, I mean, something's got to be done with the road, and you know, for the city not to even have that road, it's not even under the jurisdiction of the city. For the city to flip a big bill on that, you know, you just worry about you taking care of the coffers of the city as a council member. You know, when you're enhancing a road that's not even your road. So if there's, you know, certainly a discussion can be had there, and I think that would go a long ways towards helping, because you know, with you got the trees, the hollies that would need to come down, all that kind of stuff would have to be worked out. So I mean, it's a pretty big endeavor. So and the road had to be widened and new pavement and everything. And again, I get to the point where, you know, when you have that many construction trucks going back and forth on that road in the condition it's already in, a lot of times that, I think when you go into subdivisions and you see where they've been torn up and they're about to go in and fix them up to, you know, put that top coat on them, you know, they're in horrible shape sometimes before they actually get to that point. And, you know, residents are complaining, you know, potholes and busting my tire. I'm busting my tire on the sewer caps that are sitting up higher than the road. And my concern would be that, you know, again, how are the current residents and the folks that are using the marina going to navigate that road under 2 years worth of, you know, construction? So those are the biggest concern that I have right now for that development. So wanted to make sure we were clear on that, because I didn't want them to leave and not feel like they had direction, and that you guys didn't have direction either. So because you know, I know Mr. Hill actually and his entourage, they called for this to come back, and because they want to know, you know, they want to know what the council's expecting, and that kind of thing. So I just want to make sure it's clear to you guys.
Okay, the voting session starts, and we'll call it to order. And now we're going to public comments. And as I call your name, if you'll come up to the microphone and give you your name and address, and each person gets 2 minutes. And we've got a sophisticated system now to track that. See that? That was a joke. But anyway, Michelle Golden. Okay. Yep, right up here. Talk into the microphone for us.
Okay. My name's Michelle Golden, and I live at 6105 Mitchell Street, and this is actually my first meeting I've ever been to, so I've lived here for almost over 30 years. Anyway, I saw on the Facebook page for Flowery Branch that there's a new development happening over in the area where I live, and I'm really concerned. I'm not so concerned about the development. It doesn't necessarily bother me, but Mitchell Street Road needs to be fixed desperately, and we need sidewalks. At least on one side, we need sidewalks. We have a lot of pedestrians. People walk with their dogs, children, baby strollers, all kinds of things. We have semis going down the road. We have boats that take the whole entire road. So that's kind of why I'm here. I just kind of want to know what's going on. Also, there's been several people out there surveying all week long. So I kind of want to know what's happening with why are they surveying? What are they going to do? Are they going to buy some of our property? So far, some of the lines are like 4 feet on my property. So I don't know what's the plan. Yeah. What's happening? Is the city buying back our property? I mean, what's going on? I just want to know.
Okay. Well,
So that's really all I have to say. I just want to know what's going on. Mitchell Street is actually dangerous
I might
in
direct
some
you to our
ways.
city planner's office, Mr. McCrary, and if you'll
Yeah.
just give him a call, he might be able to enlighten you there.
Okay, well, like where they built the new homes, there's like, I don't know, 13 new homes. So they built sidewalk and then they widened the road. But if you're not paying attention, when you go past that new road area and you don't swerve just a little bit, you're going to go into a ditch. So I'm surprised nobody's had any accidents, but the road kind of curves, so there's like a big old ditch right there if you're not paying attention. And then also the stop sign. People are running the stop sign all the time. Nobody stops there. So I don't even know if it's beneficial, but is that my 2 minutes? Okay, I'm done.
Yes.
I told you it was sophisticated. Richard Flegel, F-L-E-G-A-L.
Good evening, Mayor and council members. My name is Richard Flegel. I live at 5708 Weston Circle in Flowery Branch, and I'm here to express some concerns about the intersection of Mulberry and Phil Necro. In October of last year, September or October of last year, up on top of the hill on Mulberry Street on the right-hand side, they started a new development. As part of that, some construction was done, some tearing up of there's a ditch down, or a valley down in there, closer to Phil Necro. They expanded the, I guess, easement, or the pavement is actually expanded. The white line goes here, and then he expanded the pavement out enough to actually look like a turning lane. People are using that. I come down, I stay where I'm supposed to stay, I make a right-hand turn, I turn my turn signal on, and the next thing I know, there's a car pulling up right beside me, turning the same way. 3 times, June and July, I almost had an accident. One time, I actually had to go into the oncoming lane of Phil Necro to avoid getting hit. Thank God there was nobody there coming the other way. I talked to Mr. McCrary the other day, and he mentioned the fact that it's not long enough to actually have a turning lane, but he did mention something about possibly putting yellow lines or something in there so that people know that that's not to be used. That's my concern. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Next is Patricia Clark Dans,
might have signed up in the wrong spot, I'm not sure. Patricia Clark Davis, and I'm here about the 5572 and 5578 Mulberry variants that's further on the agenda. Oh, and
Your
my
name and address?
Patricia Clark Davis, 6164 Lake Lanier Heights Road,
Okay.
Beaufort, Hall County,
Yeah.
Beaufort, Georgia.
You got about a minute and a half if you want to say any more.
Pardon? I'm in favor of it,
Okay.
of the variance. Yes, thank you.
That's good. Next is Randy Jennings.
Good evening. How are you? First, I want to say I'm Randy Jennings. I live at 5912 Mitchell Street. And I'm going to echo a lot of the comments that you heard earlier. I've lived here for 3 years, and I'm going to tell you, I appreciate everything that you were saying about being concerned about the condition of the Mitchell Street and what it'll look like after construction. And you're right, 100% right. But even more important than that is going to be the danger of walking down that road, and that's what you've heard about. And if you haven't walked that road, and if you haven't driven a golf cart down that road, and I've done it almost on a daily basis, you don't have an appreciation for what this additional traffic is going to do. I'm not against the development. I'm not against having extra neighbors. I think that's great. I think that's how a town grows. It just has to be done responsibly. And also, I don't want it done at my expense. I don't want my quality of life to be decreased as it will be right now from what I see. I was happy to see the traffic study, but I got to tell you, it's got more red flags than it does have answers. And you're correct, Mayor, you should have questioned that. There's no way that the marina is producing that much traffic. And the additional thing is what is an average? Well, if the average isn't 365 days, 1 year, it really tells you absolutely nothing because the traffic there is so flexible. There are light years between wintertime and summertime and the weekend and the weekdays as to what's created by that marina as well as fishtails. It's a very unique situation. But in particular is the section of the road that she mentioned. I live on the wide section of Mitchell Street and I have the beautiful sidewalk. And it is my understanding that eventually that sidewalk will run down to the city park. And I really look forward to that because I've got a grandson and nothing would make me happier than to be able to take him down to that city park walking or in a stroller. But right now it's just absolutely too dangerous. There isn't a Monday that you couldn't come visit us that I or one of my neighbors couldn't give you a story about how we almost got ran over that weekend. And we know that that's true because at one point, and I apologize, I lost that time, we had police radar speeding there, and I talked to a policeman one day, and we know that there's cars that have exceeded 80 miles per hour down our little street. So combine all of that together, and this thing is a recipe for disaster if it isn't done correctly.
Okay.
And I just would emphasize that, please. Thank you.
Thank you. Michael Phelps.
Good evening. I'm Michael Phelps. I'm partners with Chris Hill. My address is 390 Brogdon Road, Swanee, Georgia. I know the biggest concern with the Mitchell Street property is, one of the biggest concerns is the road situation. But as Chris and I have talked, a lot of that road's, deferred maintenance. And I understand there's this place in the road that's Hall County Road, but over the course of the city, even though it's not part of the city road, it is a city road that's getting used through other city roads in order to get to Fishtails and get the restaurants down there and all that sort of stuff. So, in our discussion with the whole situation and talking about trying to monetarily, contribute towards the new road, I think whether or not the development goes through or not, that road is going to be a situation that's got to be improved in the next, 2 to 4 years because it's fallen apart. And I know y'all are down there recently repaving the park area, but with the new sidewalks and the new curb and gutter that's on part of the road, in order to carry people from downtown down to the marina with golf cart traffic and all that sort of stuff, that's got to be on your guys' radar coming up for the residents of the city. So that's just all I had to say. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Chris Hill, do you want to speak some more?
No, sir, I'm done.
Okay. Brandon Bowen. Okay.
We look forward to getting with your staff and trying to address these.
Okay. Thanks. Very good. That completes the public comments. We'll go to the consent agenda, so we need a motion there.
Motion to approve consent agenda.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. And the unfinished business, it's the second reading of, to consider ordinance 749.
Ordinance 749 is an ordinance approving a conditional use permit, CUP, to expand the maximum occupancy of an existing residential care facility on a parcel of real property owned by Vine Senior Care LLC, identified as 5111 Spring Street, totaling 4.29 plus or minus acres, and is shown on attached Exhibit A and as conditioned on attached Exhibit B, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, we have a motion there.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 749.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any more discussion there? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It passes. Okay, the second reading of ordinance 750.
Ordinance 750 is an ordinance granting a variance from the requirements set forth in the City of Flowery Branch zoning ordinance, Article 6, Table 6.2, dimensional requirements for agricultural and conventional zoning districts, minimum lot width and minimum side setback, interior lot line, all principal buildings for 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street, owned by Carl N. Clark Estate Properties LLC, as shown on attached Exhibit A and as described on Exhibit B and as conditioned on Exhibit C, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for an effective date, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay. Somebody want to submit that motion?
Move to approve the variance for 5572 and 5578 Mulberry Street is requested.
Second.
Okay, any more discussion? Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, passes. Next is the second reading of ordinance 751.
Ordinance 751 is an ordinance amending the zoning ordinance of the City of Flowery Branch, Georgia. Ordinance 751 is to provide for a definition of farm winery tasting room in Section 2.1 of Article 2, to amend Table 9.1 by adding a farm winery tasting rooms use, to strike in its entirety Table 9.2 within Article 9, to be replaced with Table 9.2 as shown on attached Exhibit A, to reference the applicable dimensional standards for certain uses, providing for severability, repealing conflicting ordinances, and for all other lawful purposes.
Okay, can we have a motion there?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 751.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, we go on to new business and voting, and it's to consider the purchase and sale agreement for a parcel of land on Thurman Tanner. Somebody want to make that motion?
Yeah, I move to approve the purchase and sale agreement for purchasing a parcel of land on Thurman Tanner Parkway.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any more discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, it passes. And I believe we have another executive session. Somebody want to make that motion?
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor.
I'll make a motion to move into executive session for the purposes of personnel, pending litigation, and property.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay. I want to thank everybody for coming tonight, and appreciate it.
Motion to exit executive session.
Second. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Yeah, I just wanted to say something, suggest something, and Ted, you probably need to see whether or not this is something we can do today, or whether or not we need to wait. But with what I got going on, I know that being Mayor Pro Tem, one of the things that's concerned me is that if Ed were out and I were out, there would be a scramble to figure out who to put in the mayor's role for that particular meeting. So with what I got going on, and I would just assume see someone else serve as Mayor Pro Tem in case I'm out. And I know that would, I know you could probably do something where you could appoint somebody in a hurry if that were the case. But I mean, I've missed a few meetings here over the last couple months, and I don't know from day to day really what my situation is going to be, and so I didn't know if that's something we could. Again, it's a role that people might want to think about whether or not they want to take it on. So I'd hate to put anybody on the spot to take it, but at the same time, I also don't want to be in a spot where if Ed had to miss a meeting and I'm out that meeting as well, you know, all of a sudden, you know, y'all are sitting here with 4 council members and nobody in the acting role.
Wait, turn your mic on.
So you can do that.
Contemplated in the charter. I think if the scenario that you just articulated were to happen.
They could name an acting.
I think we'd be able to.
Okay, that's fine. I just wanted to make sure, okay. I didn't know if it was one of those things where you'd have to, you couldn't do it at that particular meeting. I knew that you could appoint an acting mayor, but I didn't know if you could do it simultaneously at the meeting itself. That, okay.
My opinion is that we could do that.
Okay. All right, that's good. Yep, that's it.
One more motion.
Motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
All those in favor, say aye.
All right.
All right.